Society, Julius Kuiper, Phil Bravado. The April showers haven't given way to the May flowers. To my right, to my left, and let's talk about Flowers. Chad Flowers returning after a 3-year hiatus here. The PPW taking on Mr. Excellence Brandon Scott, who is also returning after a 6-month hiatus. Phil, what does Chad Flowers, have to do to knock off Brandon Scott?
He's got to pray, because we're in a holy place right now, and he better use all the resources he can, because Brandon Scott has been from all over to Portland, Oregon, wrestling with the West Coast Wrestling Connection. He's been everywhere in this country. He's picked up a thing or two, and by the way, he's no stranger, shall I say, to success here at PPW. He's lost once. He's been here, what, 3 years? Chad Flowers, he's got a thing coming to him tonight.
He might be picking daisies after this one. In our tag team match, it's triple threat action. The Funk Show Express, you talk about 2 young kids who are headed upward, EJ. They are taking on Fuller's House, very dangerous with Josh Fuller in his corner. And also the new team of Majestic Noah and Siler Andrews. What do they have to do to knock off someone like the Funk Show Express?
Funk Show Express, they're young, hungry, and they're just out here.
I'm hungry too.
I'm always hungry, but they're just out here to have a good time sometimes, it feels like, but maybe they want to take their opponents a little more seriously tonight. Fuller's House, guys like Majestic Noah, Siler Andrews, they are no one to take lightly.
Our women's title match will also be featured on this episode. PPW Women's Champion Allie Rex taking on courageous Christina Marie. This one is going to be like EJ says, 2 buffaloes at the watering hole in female version. They're going to just slug it out. You know what I'm talking about, Phil.
Well, for the record, these men right here called you ladies buffaloes.
I didn't call them buffaloes. I was using that as a description, EJ. Defend me.
That's my pickup line.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, when Christina Marie knocks you out cold, I'm not picking you up off the ground. Anyway, let's go to our main event, Phil. I know you're going to love this one. The hybrid himself, Sean Carr, taking on the rogue, Anthony Gangone. These two have never met in the squared circle. That's hard to believe with the success that both of them have had.
Both are well-traveled. Obviously, both have resumes that speak for themselves. Tonight, this one, it's going to steal the show. It's not really a big thing to say because it's quite obvious, but this one's going to be a great one to watch.
All right, PPW High Voltage is next. I suggest you to call Applebee's, Curb to Go, get Jackie to wait on you. Tell her the guys from PPW High Voltage send you. Give her a big tip. Don't be cheap like Tyler. We'll see you. Don't change that dial.
Ron, what a pleasure it is to have you here in Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling. Speaking for everyone here in attendance here, we've come out in droves tonight to thank you for all you've done over the years in professional wrestling. We've been doing this a long time here at PPW, and I'm going to tell you right now, speaking for everybody in the back, I have never met one of the most professional men here. Ron Simmons, so easy to deal with. Coming here tonight, you guys had a great ride here. We're not going to talk about that. But Ron, thank you so much. Say a few words to the PPW fans.
First of all, I'd say good evening, everyone. You know, I get to. It's absolutely a pleasure for me to be invited back here, you know, and it is special to me because I've been a very fortunate guy in this business, you know, because my career has spanned several different generations, starting from the Assassins to Dusty Rhodes to the Four Horsemen to even to the current guy. A long way ride, you know, there's been some of you here that have been kids, and some of you here have been adults who've seen me go through the changes and follow my progress all through my career. And this is especially something that I won't give to my heart because I've seen the guys that come before me do the same thing that I'm about to do now. And that is to say, without you and the support of the year, there is no Hall of Fame for Ron Simmons, and I want to say thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, WWE Hall of Famer, Ron Simmons! But Ron, you told me one thing, and that was respect. And right now, I feel like you're disrespecting me.
Look at this, straight from Bedrock, Caveman Chad.
This man, an amazing wrestler, part of the future of the business. A couple of years ago with Kakoa, with Bill Daly, who was here and was a heavyweight champion here in PPW, and with the model Ricky Martinez. Those four went across the country.
Oh, look at that. Scott knocks Chad right out of the ring.
Speaking across the country, I think
Scott's mad after what we just saw.
Well, yeah, you know, you got to be honest. Brandon Scott is not having any of this.
They're right in our laps here, folks.
Jackie Rodriguez being held back.
Oh, my God, the Irish whip, close quarters, right into that ring post.
You know, we talked a little bit in the opening, EJ, about Brandon Scott and his amazing record here in PPW. One loss, and it was when he lost the PPW WYLN Television Championship. Chad Flowers is going to have an uphill battle that's going to await him tonight if he wants to come out of here a victor.
Tell you what, Brandon Scott, he's another one that's been at PPW pretty much since the beginning. The WYLN Television Championship would not be the same belt if it was not for Brandon Scott's run with that belt. You may not like him, you may not agree with how he wrestles, but you can't take anything away from this young man.
After all that,
Holbert was sleeping back there, I think.
Yeah. Well, after all that, it's ready to go. And Brandon Scott choking out Chad Flowers right now.
You always got to watch Brandon Scott. If you're one of these officials, you already know how Brandon Scott operates. Unfortunately, you can't have eyes everywhere.
You know, Brandon Scott has been gone, like we said, alluded to earlier, from the PPW roster for a while. He hasn't been gone from wrestling. He's been gone because he's been across the country wrestling for the West Coast Wrestling Connection out in Portland, Oregon. He's been wrestling all up and down the West Coast, gaining valuable experience, and now coming back to PPW, a better wrestler.
Absolutely. Caveman Chad trying to get out of that full Nelson. He breaks out with the back elbow. Going right onto the shoulder, onto that nerve of Brandon Scott. Wasn't enough to slow him down. Brandon Scott right back in this one with a 2 count.
Well, Holbert telling Brandon Scott, not happy Brandon Scott, that he only got a 2 on that one.
Brandon Scott drops the elbow.
These two, just another 2 parts of an amazing PPW roster that we've had coming into 2018, EJ, and these guys can both go, and they have both a bright future. Brandon Scott, obviously, we all know his future. Chad Flowers can impress a lot of people here in PPW, a lot of people around the ring, and a lot of people, more importantly, in the back.
Tell you what, the past year has been very, very kind to Brandon Scott's wrestling career. We saw him on the WWE in the tournament there. What is that, 202 Live? Did I get that right?
I don't know, something, 20 something.
20 something.
I don't watch that.
205 Live.
There you go.
There we go.
And together we'll figure out WWE. Don't ask me a champion.
But what's important is what he does here in the PPW ring. Brandon Scott never fails to deliver.
Well, Chad Flowers showing an act of desperation, ducking under 2 of them and coming through. EJ, the sunset flip, trying to work.
Look at that maneuver. Rolls him up. 2. Oh.
Flowers almost got out of here with a win, and it doesn't matter how.
Brandon Scott brought that one all the way up from the south with him.
You know, you said something earlier, and you're absolutely right, EJ. Brandon Scott's mad, okay? Before this, Ron Simmons and Brandon Scott had an altercation. He's angry. That's given him a little bit more, I would say, of an advantage here.
Absolutely, but also you could be blinded by your anger as much as it will give you that extra strength and that extra drive.
Correct.
It also can make you make mistakes in the squared circle.
Well, Flowers pushing off Brandon Scott, but Brandon Scott relentless, like a pit bull, just continuously attacking his opponent in the corner, not letting him get out. And when he does, whips him all the way across to the other end.
Well, let's face it, Brandon Scott was embarrassed tonight. He came out to make some kind of point against Ron Simmons. I don't know what it was, but he ended up getting a big right-handed knuckle sandwich right across the chops from Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Yeah, that's all I can say, too. We gotta watch our language. Jeff will be popping in the production truck outside.
Hi, Jeff. You know me well.
Look at that! Oh, tilt-a-whirl.
And he landed right in the middle of the ring, EJ, and 2 3/4. Referee Jim Holbert right there in position. Brandon Scott has nobody to blame on that one but himself and the heart of Chad Flowers.
That was a devastating power maneuver exactly when Scott needed to deliver it to get back into this one to gain the advantage back. Now he's just going to choke Chad right on the middle rope there.
You know, we've been hearing about Chad Flowers for the last couple months in the back here at PPW. When's he coming? What's he going to do? Why is he here? We're finding this out right now. And he's, like I keep saying, he has a chance to impress people here tonight. A win against Brandon Scott would certainly go a long way here in climbing the PPW ladder. Both starting out at the bottom, but both shouldn't be there, and it's only a matter of time before they climb.
Yeah, this one started off like a teeter-totter, but now Brandon Scott is in firm control as he perches on that middle rope.
Scott taking all the time in the world, showboating and showing the fans that he's smarter than them. I don't know how much this is going to do. And the irony there is that he wasn't smart.
You know, when you go high risk like that, it's either go big or go home. Brandon Scott knows that. He committed fully, but came up short. Damaged his right arm there. Chad right back in this one. Flying shoulder tackle into the fireman's carry. Scott in a very bad position here. Sends him on the tilt-a-whirl. On the spin cycle.
I'm getting dizzy. Brandon Scott can barely stand up, and so can Chad Flowers. Flowers just diving, hoping he hits. He does. And now Chad Flowers trying to get this PPW crowd behind him here in Hazleton.
Chad reminds me of a character from Joe and Mac. Remember that video game?
Sadly, yes.
I was a fan of Joe and Mac too when it... Never mind. Anyway,
Please.
Chad climbing up to the top rope.
Gonna use his head, I think.
Caught himself. Scott off the middle row. Oh, big cutter.
Right in the middle of the ring. Holbert down two. And Chad Flowers kicks out, and Brandon Scott is beside himself. Brandon Scott looking out in disbelief as he cannot believe Chad Flowers is still in this match.
Absolutely. What a back and forth matchup we're seeing here. Chad Flowers still in this one. Brandon Scott looking to put it away, though.
Brandon Scott wanted to come to Hazleton for the first time in a long time, show up, do what he does best, get out of here with a win and call it a day. Chad Flowers is not letting that happen as easy as Brandon Scott thought that it would be.
Rake across the face from Brandon Scott.
Chad Flowers starting to come together. And now he's going to put on an onslaught of moves, and it's going to be stopped quickly by Brandon Scott. Right, Seguri to the head. Roll up quick. Rolled him over too far, but got him that time. The Caveman down for the count.
Scott hooks the leg. 3, no! No, only a 2.
Chad Flowers showing the heart and determination that it takes to be in a PPW right now, EJ.
Absolutely. Brandon Scott's getting frustrated here. This has not been his night so far. He just can't seem to put away Chad Flowers.
Action-packed pace here. Referee Jim Holbert's even tired. Me and you are tired.
Oh!
Flowers uses the head. No head, tougher than a caveman.
Brandon Scott goes down.
Very Ric Flair-esque. And caveman grunts coming from the PPW faithful here around the ring.
Sounds like they're on a woolly mammoth hunt. Oh, the caveman takes flight.
This could be it. Hooks the leg. 3.
What an upset.
Chad Flowers.
Caveman Chad came back. Brandon Scott was in firm control almost the entire match. He saw his opening, though, and leapt, quite literally, into action. Got the win. Caveman Chad returning to PPW with a big, big victory.